Disclaimer time. I'm away from my studio, so I'm using an AI voiceover. Hope it doesn't sound too corny. The Walking Dead, Dead City, here we go. Dead City is a Walking Dead spin-off. It starts with our co-lead, Maggie, surveying Manhattan Island. Oops. Zombie killing time. Okay, back to Maggie. Maggie is searching for the other co-lead, Negan. She's tracked his location to a speakeasy. The owners claim not to know of anyone named Negan. Maggie goes out back to snoop, but is apprehended. Inside, she spots Negan, and off he runs. Maggie catches up to Negan. Negan is traveling with a young girl, Ginny. Ginny doesn't speak. Young actress doesn't have to remember any lines. Easy money, baby. Maggie needs Negan's assistance and blackmails him by threatening to turn him over to the authorities, as he's a wanted man. Maggie's mission entails the rescue of her son, Herschel. He's been kidnapped by a villainous character named the Croat. He's an exiled member of Negan's former gang. Negan accepts the mission and drops Ginny off in a safe community. Allow me to pause and explain my huge issue with the premise of this show. If you're not familiar with their background, years ago, Negan beat Maggie's husband to death with a baseball bat. She walked around for several seasons of The Walking Dead, threatening revenge on Negan. She's had several opportunities to exact that revenge, but instead chose to flap her lips about it. In this show, she's still at it. Look, at this point, either kill the dude or just stop with the threats. I get it. It's asking a lot considering that he murdered her husband, but it's also a stretch for her to reach out to the man that murdered her husband for assistance. The writers have been writing this same stale story for way too long. End of rant. We meet U.S. Marshal Purley, who's in pursuit of Negan. He visits the same bar where Maggie was searching for Negan. The bar owner feigns ignorance, and the marshal drags her outside amongst the zombies to see if that'll make her talk. He ends up tossing her to the zombies. Okay, the marshal is not one of the good guys. In the parking lot of the bar, the marshal finds a map that Maggie dropped during her previous scuffle with Negan. It clues him to their destination, Manhattan Island. Maggie has flashbacks of old-school Negan bonking her husband on the head with a baseball bat. They seize a boat to sail to the island. The marshals are in hot pursuit. The marshals get separated and the junior marshal is taken hostage by Maggie and Negan. They escape towards the island. Once they reach the island and move into the city limits, they're greeted by dead bodies falling from the rooftops. This is followed by them being cornered by a horde of zombies. They escape into an abandoned building. The marshals have caught up to them and entered the building as well. Marshal Purley manages to mistakenly shoot his junior marshal and then abandon the other marshal. He gets his hands on Maggie. Not gonna lie, I was sort of hoping that he'd choke her out. But she somehow overpowers a dude twice her size and knocks him out with his own rifle. Marshals. They don't make them like they used to. Maggie rejoins Negan. They look for a safe escape from the zombies in the building. They stumble upon an old lady who blows out their flame. We finally meet the villain of the show, the Croat. He's holding hostage Maggie's son Herschel. This kid's camera presence is the equivalence of paint slowly drying on a wall. Put it this way, the girl, Ginny, that doesn't speak at all has more screen pop than this kid. The Croat speaks of vengeance against Negan more than some grudge against Maggie. There's more to this kidnapping than meets the eye. The Croat gets word that one of his prisoners has escaped. The dude has been tortured. The Croat orates some villainous speech that's supposed to come off as deeper than it really is. The Croat ends up killing the prisoner by cutting his rope as he rappelled between buildings. I guess Negan and Maggie spent the night with the old lady because it's light outside now. The old lady enthusiastically leads them to some unknown destination. These two masterminds follow her because, the plot says so. Maggie doesn't even trust Negan to help her land on the other building as she arrives. Writers, this tension between the two characters has no more stretch. Stop the pull. Anyway, the old lady leads them into a trap. Sort of. We're introduced to Amaya and Tommaso. They're down with the old lady. Ginny ain't feeling this community. Some bitches actually expect her to waste her time going to school. That's not her vibe. She's built different. In a quiet moment during captivity, Negan runs down his history with the Croat. Croat was a member of the gang, however, he had an extra level of cruelty. Negan and he had a falling out. As Negan expelled him, Negan shot his ear off as a parting present, so naturally these two have beef. Purley visits the address on the envelope he's been carrying in his boot. He arrives and enters an empty apartment. We're led to believe that it's someone close. The person has self-deleted. Pearlie covers the body. As he exits into the alley, this cat walks right into a booby trap. Not sure how he missed that big-ass net with the strings attached. I'm afraid Pearlie has been written to be somewhat dumb. Back with our heroes, Negan convinces the rebel group that he's not their enemy by threatening to slit their throats. Right about then, the real bad guys show up downstairs. They're the Croats' goons. They grab the old lady and stab her, thus cutting her IMDb episode count short. Negan then snatches the little dude and marches him back into the building. Negan announces his presence to the other bad guys by crashing their comrade's head through the windows. And with a neck slash, followed by a super-powered gutting, we get a flash of the old Negan. This little display is not lost on Maggie. She appears to be horrified by her partner in crime. Negan looks at her as if to say that it was just an old reflex. With the bad guys expelled, the rebel group agrees to assist our heroes. Meanwhile, Ginny is out of that lame-ass community. We get the Croats' bad guys cutting down Pearlie from the booby trap. The Croat joins them. Appears that he's gonna do some bad shit to Pearlie. Ginny reminisces about the days of Negan and her navigating the dangerous terrain. They show a segment of Negan stressing to find her lost stuffed toy animal. This girl looks like she's 21, yet she got folk out here risking their life for a toy. Ridiculous. She paddles her way over to the island to look for Daddy Negan. The Brain Trust strategizes how to get inside the Croats' compound. Maggie manages to throw just enough shade to make the others distrust Negan even more. Way to sabotage your own mission, Einstein. Brilliant. Tommaso draws up a crude map of the city. Maggie attempts to make the others give a shit about her son. The black dude ain't buying it. Told her that her son probably already doing the zombie cha-cha-cha. Pearlie in some deep water. Seems that the Croat now owns the UFC. He says some creepy villain blah 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 to Pearlie, then he makes his stooge swallow a key and then throws him over the edge. I suppose that was the key to Pearlie's handcuffs. If I'm being straight with you, I wasn't really listening that close to that monologue. By now, I was at the stage of checking out on the show. After Dude told Maggie that her son was likely playing with his zombie buddies, Negan tries to console her the best way that he can. He lets her know that he somewhat abandoned his family so that they wouldn't have to deal with being hunted because of his heat. Little Ginny out here getting attacked by zombies. She dropped her little stuffed animal, somebody walks out, kills the zombie, and then takes her stuffed animal. It's fight night. The Croat makes Pearlie inhale some sort of gas that makes him groggy, but zombies are dumb and Pearlie manages to get behind the zombie and pops his pimple. Took me a while to figure out that the headless zombie was the dude that swallowed the key. Pearlie dug into his body to retrieve the key to free himself. The Croat is impressed, I think. Maybe not. Not sure, he's hard to read. The rebels have dinner. Afterward, Tommaso converses with Maggie about child rearing. Nothing but quality story writing here, ladies and gentlemen. The lady that took Ginny's stuffed animal enters the rebels' hangout. She's part of their group. Maggie notices that she has Ginny's stuffed animal. Maggie grabs the stuffed animal and exits. The Croat congratulates Pearlie on his first UFC win. He grabs the letter from Pearlie's boot and reads it. Basically, Pearlie is a man on the verge of losing all hope. Big Rebel corners Negan and tells him to leave his rebel group. Negan ain't trying to hear it. They square off. All that size didn't mean nothing. He dead. Negan scores another kill. Gonna be hell trying to hide the body though. Maggie took that stuffed animal right to the garbage can. Ginny is hiding behind the trash can, scoping out the whole scene. Ginny flashes back to when Negan found the toy, thus sealing their bond. I guess it means everything to her. Maggie has no use for a distracted Negan. She bout to light that stuffed animal shit on fire. You're now caught up on the first 3 episodes. I tried to review this as a completely new show, but to do that means ignoring the previous history of the 2 lead characters, and I can't overlook that. It's my main gripe with the show, not to say that I don't have other issues with it. The premise doesn't work for me. Logically, Maggie should kill Negan or leave him alone, or Negan should kill Maggie and remove this constant cloud of vengeance from his life. Give me a show where Negan rebuilds his evil empire and I'm in for it. But not this. Also, every other character introduced is quite forgettable. Good points. They seem to be willing to let Negan behave like more of a rogue. Hey, if you are a huge fan of TWD, I suspect you'll find more things to like about this, but for me, I'm out.